Hello, my name's Chris.
And I'm Linda.
And we are here about to get into one of these little helicopters and fly off over to the 12 Apostles.
This is part of our great ocean road adventure. Chris surprised me with booking us into a helicopter flight. We had gone down to see the Apostles down by the water, and now we were going to take another view.
Yep, and away we go. So we're just going to narrate this little trip. I actually had the camera running the whole time in my hands, just taking a little flip high-def camera. And as we fly off here over the fields, whoa, getting dizzy. There's you.
I'm all excited, as you can tell.
Taking shots on your iPhone.
Yeah, so there were 4 of us in the helicopter. The trusty pilot, our friend from Vietnam?
Korea.
Well,
thought I rooka raka Russell Crowe.
We met him when we were down by the water, and he was asking us where the helicopters were, and funnily enough, as luck would have it, we ended up in the same helicopter with him.
Yeah. So it was a little Robinson R44, little 4-seater, and you can see as we're flying over here, you can just see those big the rock towers there of the Apostles. Not actually 12 of them.
Nope. How many were there? There were 9?
I believe there were 9. There were only ever 9. There were never 12. Yeah. And one collapsed. And there are now 8.
They're really stunning structures. Isn't there a similar thing out in PEI? I've never been there. You have, for the Canadian reference. The flower pot off the shore?
I never saw them if they were. No.
Anyways, it's absolutely stunning to look at. The coastline is just so rugged, and you can see just what years of aggressive waves lapping at the shore can do.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
Yeah. And like if you look over that direction there, you can see it's all like farmland over on one side, and then it just kind of drops into the ocean. And this bit we're flying over now is called the Lockhart Gorge. And you can see those huge eroded bays where the ocean's just gradually chipping away at the edge of the continent.
It was really nice to be able to see this from the air, because we didn't get to Lockhart Gorge on our drive, and we certainly didn't get down to see it as we did with the first 2 Apostles.
No, it's called running out of time and money.
Yes.
A little township, you can see there's a beach there, and a little township was, what was the township?
I can't remember.
I can't remember. It's going from my head.
But it was a spectacular day too, and as you might be able to tell by the lighting, it was late in the afternoon. I think it was about 5:30, 6 o'clock when we were doing this.
6 o'clock.
And the lighting was just phenomenal. Both Chris and I like to take a good picture, and the lighting was just terrific for that. And the day was perfect, just to be able to see it
Look at
from
all those
the
waves
air.
rolling in. It's incredible. So those cliffs you can see there are, gosh, I don't know how to put a number on it. They're enormous. We actually climbed down to the base of some of them back up near the Apostles.
It took us about 5 minutes to walk down the steps that traverse the hillside. But you look out here, I think you've got a shot of just looking out to the water and just how expansive it is. You just see water forever.
Look at that. There's a cave there, and you can see that a big chunk of the cliff has actually fallen out of the cave, and then it's not hard to then see how that then erodes into one of these inlets, these little bays, like you can see that one there in the bottom of the picture there. It just kind of erodes away and leaves these things. And someone said to me, it'll be real sad when all these rock structures eventually collapse. And I thought, well, no, by the time they collapse, there'll be new ones to take in place. Yeah, and this is great. And no doubt the ones that are there now were once coastline. So this is just a completely ongoing process of the land just eroding away and falling away further and falling away further. That road's in a bit of a precarious spot when you think about it.
What were you saying about the history of the area, that they had at one point
a lot of shipwrecks along here?
Yeah, I can imagine. But as far as what they were going to do with it, and they were going to close it off to tourism. What's that piece of information that you
I don't
read?
remember that. Oh, that's the little town I was thinking of with the beach there.
Okay.
That's the town we drove through. We were going to stay there. We couldn't find any accommodation.
Imagine that. We were in the height of the travel season, on really nice weather, and we couldn't find a place to stay. Yeah. We hadn't pre-booked anything.
Yeah. Now this area down here, this is the southern, what would you call it, like the underside of Victoria. So as you go from Cape Otway, which is the lowest, most southernmost point of Victoria, over west towards South Australia. This is what the coastline is, and in fact, this is what they call the Great Ocean Road Drive.
It really is stunningly spectacular. There's so many little towns along the way that are just, you know, beach after beach after beautiful beach, and the drive is stunning. You see rocky coastline, and every 5-10 minutes you want to stop the car and take another photo and just take it all in, because it really is spectacular.
Yeah. Now, I haven't actually watched this footage back since I took it, so we're kind of just narrating this as we watch it ourselves for the first time.
But
beach.
You know, in an area that it has, you know, had terrible fires and drought, and that is incredibly green and lush this year. And you know, we certainly had fantastic weather in our travels through Victoria. We had originally wanted to go north.
You're Canadian. This is the second time you've mentioned the weather.
Yeah, we had originally wanted to go north and go up through Queensland, up Noosa way, and as you may or may not know, that Queensland has been experiencing horrific flooding because of weeks and weeks of rain and just terrible weather. So we just decided that there was no sun in sight going that way, so we decided to go south instead.
Yeah, we hit the jackpot with the weather. You really get a sense of the expanse of the land there from this height, looking out over the plains like that.
Yeah.
It's all really rich farmland.
The flight was about 15 minutes in length, and it was just
Well,
it was wonderful because it took us along.
14:41 according to the length of this video.
And you know, here you see just the beautiful blues of the water. There's just so many shades of blue and green, and it just goes on forever. Just stunning.
Now that rock you can see down the bottom there, you can see that there's like a piece of land and there's like an island of rock just there. That was what was called London Bridge. And there used to be a land bridge between the mainland and that island.
And you know, aptly named London Bridge because it went falling down.
Yeah, exactly right. And it collapsed in 2006, I thought it was. Could be, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But a couple of years ago it actually collapsed. And there were people stranded out on the island part after it collapsed, so that would have been a bit scary.
But they were rescued and they were fine. But
but it could have all turned out rather badly if they'd have been a little bit either side of that time frame.
You just look up the coast and you just see how sweeping it is. It's just...
Sorry for the jiggling in the video footage here. The chopper was actually vibrating quite a bit.
As they do.
As they do.
But it was nice to be up in a helicopter. It's only my second time being in a helicopter. My first time was flying out of Vancouver and up over the mountains and back down Western Canadian coastline. So to see the southwest Australian coastline was a nice change of pace.
Yep.
And you've been up in a helicopter before this?
Yeah, I've actually I did this very flight when my son was just probably 4 or 5 years old.
Wow.
He sat on my lap, so I didn't have to pay for him. So you gotta like that. But yeah, I've done a bit of heli skiing as well, so I've been in and out of the occasional helicopter.
They really
We've
are
got a lot of
impressive.
altitude here now
Yeah.
compared to before. It's a wonderful view when you come this high.
Yeah. It's too bad we couldn't read the altimeter, see where we were. But it was funny when we ended up landing the helicopter, and they have people that escort you to and from the helicopter, and you know, chat with you. And there are other pilots who do this once they've maxed out their hours for the day. And I was talking to one gentleman, and I said, "Is that a Canadian accent?" And he said, "Yes, it is." And he said, "Oh, you too?" I said, "Yep." "Where are you from?" "Toronto." "Where are you from?" "Toronto." So it was quite funny that there I was in the Ocean Road, Victoria, Australia, taking a helicopter flight,
Look at you.
chatting with somebody who was from Toronto. Yes, I was very
I was
excited.
going to say look at you, but I guess look at your teeth. Because I'm not very good at aiming that camera.
Or other places, apparently.
So here we're coming back up now. So this is back up. It's getting back up near Lockhart, I think. You have to think it's not long before those little bits poking out there become standalone towers. I read somewhere it's eroding at the rate of about 2 centimetres a year, which doesn't sound like much, but
that's under normal circumstances. So, seems so. Think it will ever be closed to tourist traffic to go down. We were really lucky. We went down a place called Gibson Steps, and it's a stairway that traverses the side of the landmass there.
And it would be, just looking at this photo here, Gibson Steps would be, if you can see in about the middle of that image, there's the shadow of a cloud on the land there. So it would be just the other side of that shadow up into the sort of the far side. That would be where the steps go down onto the sand. Sorry, carry on.
But walking down there and then walking around, these land masses don't look all that big from the air, but being down there, you really appreciate the magnitude and just the strength of the waves and the sea, and just how rugged. Beautiful, but how rugged it all is. And everybody was getting their pant legs soaked in that because the tide was coming in. You get the occasional wave that just came way up, and people were, you could tell when the wave was coming in because there would be the squeals of people running to try and avoid it.
I'm glad I recorded this because I got to say, watching it back the second time, I don't know, it's you take a lot more in, I think, just seeing it. It was really good to have actually done it, but it's good to watch it back again too.
Yeah. Well, it's different experiences too, because it just being in the helicopter and feeling the sunlight and hearing the helicopter and just seeing the whiteness of the waves. The video is good and all, and I'm really glad that you took it. But it's not the same, nothing but it's like the experience.
So I can see 1, 2, 3. I'm just trying to count these apostles.
Get out of the way.
The Korean guy was funny. He kept turning the camera around, taking photos of himself so he can helicopter. And he had the same camera as us too, which was cool.
That's how we actually started talking to him when we were down. We had climbed down the Gibson Steps and we're down on the beach there. He asked us if we would take a photo or two of him in the area. I guess that's the challenge of traveling alone.
In fact, if you look down there, can you see it there? That's actually, you might see some little dots on the sand there.
Yeah.
That's people. And that's actually where the steps go down. So you can walk down from the top of the cliff to the bottom of the cliff. And we're just circling around here. Look at that.
Just spectacular.
So we're circling around here, coming back in over the land to land the heli.
The heli.
The heli.
It's a helicopter, as Parker used to say.
Right. Helicopter, as our Prime Minister says.
With an A.
Helicopter.
But it was over far too quickly. But really, a stunning experience. And the highlight of the trip. And we had many highlights. It was just gorgeous, gorgeous country. And got a few places on the list to go back to. And it was just a lovely vacation. And
yep, so here we are coming into land. It's as you come into land here, see the concrete circles. We're going to land on one of those, one on the right. If you watch this, you just have the feeling that you're coming in on like a gondola on a it's like coming in on a gondola ride. He's a good pilot.
Richard was his name.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
I just read it on the label that was above the door.